very pleased to announce that on March 11, 2014, Anaheim Fire and Rescue received international accreditation status through the Commission on Fire Accreditation International. We're one of only 13 departments in the state of California, one of 196 internationally, and so it is a great achievement for the organization, for the city, and we're very proud of the men and women here that helped to make that a reality. Well, accreditation was originally started in the late 1980s between a group of fire chiefs and city managers. And they signed an MOU to kind of create this process to really evaluate the fire service in a different way. So it is a continuous improvement model. It looks at over 250 performance indicators, and those are factored into 10 different specific categories that the agencies that go through accreditation are evaluated against. When this model was developed, it was actually developed off of what makes an organization credible. And they looked at not only what's credible for the U.S. Fire Service, but they reached out and looked at research throughout the international fire community as well. So it is a well-proven process for organizations to go through to evaluate how effective and efficient they are as an organization. I think in local government today there has been a call for transparency, and I think one of the things that is very important in the accreditation process is it really becomes a transparent process with the community as well with our elected officials. One of the cornerstones of the accreditation process is strategic planning. And when we embarked on the accreditation process, we actually engaged the community as part of our strategic planning effort. Brought in community leaders and representatives from throughout the city, and as well as departments, other department directors and labor and management leaders as well, and really started to look at how we needed to position our organization for the future. We ask ourselves three really basic questions. Number one is, how do we become more competitive in the future? And competitiveness in the fire service and local government is truly about cost, but it's also about intellectual capital. Because one of the things that we are experiencing in the fire service is we are losing a lot of our senior leadership. So the critical question for us is, how do we prepare our young firefighters to step up and take the command and control in the future of the organization? Pretty important for us. Second question that we asked the group was, how do we add value beyond the 911 call? Because the reality is we only see about 3% of our population every year in that arena. But we have a lot of opportunity each and every day to touch the citizens that live here and those that visit our city. So we ask ourselves, how do we really add value beyond the emergency incident? And the last question that we asked was, how do we re-engineer ourselves and position ourselves organizationally for the future? And that became kind of the foundation for our strategic planning effort. I lay that out because I think that's important that we had the community engaged in that dialogue, because frankly, we would have looked at it much differently. We are pretty internal as far as what we focus on each and every day, but having that community perspective brought in on the front end of our strategic planning process to help us design what we were to become 5 and 10 years from now was very, very critical. And I think it created a level of transparency throughout the community and with the city elected leadership that was very beneficial for us at the end of the day when we went to go for accreditation. Well, I think it's important for us internally because as we have went through this process, we found that some of the things that we thought we were doing well, we were not, and some of the things that we thought we were doing well, we were. So it really is a way for us to internalize and evaluate everything that we do organizationally. It's not only what happens in the field when someone dials 911, but it's all about all those ancillary business practices and support services that go on in an organization that sometimes can make or break or make a good organization great or a poor organization good. And we found that to be true in our case. as we started to go through and kind of peel the onion away of a lot of our processes, we found substantial improvement opportunities. And so we've taken those and implemented several of those, and will be in the future as well. We did find some things that we could really build on for the future. One of those was with our paramedic program. As I think many of the residents know, we have a very robust paramedic system, not only within the city of Anaheim, but Orange County. And one of the things that we identified through our research and our strategic planning process was the need to begin to evolve in providing paramedic service and advanced life support in other ways other than showing up on a big red fire truck. And with the Affordable Health Care Act and the implementation and rollout of that, we see some real opportunity with us putting paramedics in situations in the future in the role of community paramedicine, where they're doing not only emergent response, but also general care on a day-to-day basis for the populations that we often see that call 911. And so that was a real opportunity. The other opportunity that we're building upon is we are a very good fire structural department and wildland urban interface department. So we focused very heavily on training up for and gearing up for those type of events, and our firefighters do an outstanding job. But we also found some real opportunity with just our deployment of resources, and that was part of what was the outgrowth of the strategic planning process, but the standard of cover development. And so we identified new facilities that needed to be built, fire stations that needed to be relocated, and really looked at a long-term plan of how we can distribute our resources more effectively so that we're responding in a shorter period of time to the residents throughout the community. The achievement of the accreditation process is not a singular event. It doesn't start with or end with the fire chief's office or the administrative staff. It really was a collaborative effort that incorporated over 100 of our firefighting personnel engaged in the process, and 25, 30 business community leaders, our elected officials, city manager's office. And so it was a very much a collaborative effort in focusing on quality improvement for the organization. And I think that's reflective of not only the talent that we have internally, but just the focus that this city has on doing what is right for the residents that live here and the over 20 million visitors that pass through each and every year. So we're trying to get better each and every day, offer the best service that we possibly can in the event that you have to call 911. We think this process has helped us to do that, and I'd like to personally thank everybody that has supported and engaged in this process with us.